The year is 1536. A servant girl runs through Hampton Court Palace carrying a copper warming pan filled with burning coals. Her breath freezes in clouds. Her fingers are numb. She's racing to warm the bed of a lady-in-waiting before the woman retires for the night. She doesn't make it. The girl collapses in the corridor. The warming pan spills. Hot coals scatter across frozen stone. By morning, 3 people are dead, 1 from the cold, 2 from the fire that followed. This wasn't unusual. Tudor England was trapped in the Little Ice Age. The Thames River froze solid for months. People held entire festivals on the ice. Nobles woke with frost on their beards. Their chamber pots froze overnight. Servants lost fingers to frostbite while carrying water through corridors. Henry VIII owned 60 palaces. He couldn't stay warm in any of them. What you're about to discover will make you look at every radiator in your home differently, because for 5 months every year, England's most powerful families fought a battle they couldn't win.
Welcome back to History Untold. I'm Alex, and together we'll uncover the hidden secrets of the past.
If these untold stories speak to you, hit the like button and join our family. Let's step into the past together. The Little Ice Age began around 1300 and lasted until the mid-1800s. During Tudor rule, 1485 to 1603, the cold reached its cruelest peak. Average winter temperatures dropped 2 to 3 degrees Celsius below what we experience today. The Thames froze completely in 1536, 1564, and 1595. Londoners set up entire markets on the ice, roasting oxen, playing games at frost fairs. Inside the castles, there were no fairs, just cold. Tudor castles were built to keep people alive during attacks, not to keep them comfortable. Thick stone walls, sometimes 6 feet deep, could stop arrows and cannonballs. But stone has a terrible secret. It absorbs cold and releases it slowly inside. These walls became cold batteries, soaking up freezing air and radiating it inward for months. The windows made everything worse. Small openings with thin imported glass, expensive and about as effective as holding up a bedsheet against a storm. Gaps let wind whistle through constantly. The ceilings in great halls stretched 30 to 40 feet high. That height announced power, but it also meant every bit of warm air escaped upward into space. Heat rises. Physics doesn't care about your title. And here's what really made Tudor castles unbearable. They were built on hilltops for military advantage. The wind hammered these exposed stones relentlessly, with nowhere else to go but in. Foreign ambassadors wrote letters home complaining bitterly. One Spanish envoy described Hampton Court as the coldest place I have ever attempted to sleep. The grand front doors opened directly into the entrance halls, no buffer. Every visitor dragged winter inside with them. Furniture couldn't be placed near exterior walls, it would rot. Mold grew fast. Sometimes frost formed on interior stones. You could scrape ice off your own bedroom wall. The cold didn't care who you were. The Great Hall was where everything important happened. Meals, business, and entertainment, which meant everyone had to gather here to freeze together. Early Tudor halls featured a central open hearth with smoke escaping through a hole in the roof. Heat went straight up and vanished. Drafts pulled freezing air in from every direction. When the wind blew wrong, the smoke trapped inside, burning eyes and lungs. Later Tudor builders installed fireplaces against walls with proper chimneys. Better, but still useless. A fireplace heated maybe 10 to 15 feet. Beyond that, you were on your own. The high table sat on a raised platform. This elevation announced status and guaranteed you'd be colder than everyone else, farther from the fire, exposed to more drafts. The honor of sitting with the king meant shivering through your swan. Foreign ambassadors recorded their shock.
The Spanish ambassador noted that during state dinners he could see his breath at the table. The French envoy complained that the wine went cold in the goblet between sips. The food arrived from kitchens located in separate buildings, a fire safety measure. Servants carried hot dishes through open courtyards in freezing weather. A roasted peacock left the kitchen steaming, but arrived lukewarm. Fat congealed into white paste before guests could take a second bite. Sauces solidified. Gravy turned to gel. You had to eat fast, while the food still held some heat. Table manners came second to survival. Wine was served at room temperature. In Tudor winter, that meant nearly frozen. The liquid turned sluggish and syrupy. Sometimes it formed ice crystals. The Venetian ambassador wrote in 1515 that the wine froze in our cups while we attempted conversation. Servants had to heat iron pokers in the fire until they glowed red, then plunge them directly into wine cups. The metal would hiss and steam. The wine would warm. It tasted slightly burnt, but at least you could drink it without pain. Mulled wine and spiced ale weren't festive choices, they were medical necessities. Between courses, servants opened the massive hall doors to bring in the next dishes. Each opening sent a fresh blast of winter through the room. The diners nearest the doors suffered roast. Servants stood along walls waiting to serve, wearing livery designed for appearance, not warmth. They weren't allowed to visibly shiver or rub their hands. They had to stand perfectly still for hours. Records show servants often fainted during long dinners. They'd simply collapse. Other servants would drag them away and replace them. Tudor feasts could last 6 hours. 6 hours of sitting relatively still in freezing temperatures, trying to appear pleased and comfortable. People got sick regularly after these events. Winter fever spiked following major feasts. The combination of cold exposure and rich food while your body struggled to maintain temperature was medically catastrophic. But nobody canceled dinners. You attended, you performed, you suffered gracefully.
And you had to look good while suffering. Tudor fashion was designed for display, not survival. Every thread announced your status. Almost none of it kept you warm. Women's gowns featured square necklines. The chest, shoulders, and neck are completely exposed to freezing air. The kirtles, underdresses, were linen or thin wool. The farthingale created a structured frame under the skirt, holding fabric away from the body. This trapped cold air under the dress. Your legs existed in a pocket of frozen air. Sleeves were detachable. Fashion dictated different sleeves for different occasions. This created gaps at the shoulders where cold air penetrated easily. Men wore doublets, quilted jackets that provided some warmth but had to be fitted tight to show off the silhouette. Too much padding would ruin the look. Hose, essentially tight pants, covered the legs in thin wool or silk. Between the hose and doublet was the codpiece, ornamental, zero warmth. The ruff appeared later in the Tudor period, a starched linen collar that stood out from the neck in elaborate folds. Beautiful, impressive, completely impractical. Ruffs prevented you from wearing anything warm around your neck and held your collar away from your body, creating a gap where heat escaped. Indoor etiquette requires removing your heavy outdoor cloak upon entering. That would be insulting to your host. So you handed your warmest garment to a servant and walked into a freezing great hall wearing just your doublet and hose. Footwear was thin leather, with soles only a few millimeters thick. You could feel every irregularity in the floor. The cold traveled straight through to your feet. Women's shoes for formal occasions were often silk or velvet, decorative, delicate. Your feet went numb within half an hour. Children dressed as miniature adults. A 6-year-old boy wore hose, a doublet, and a miniature ruff. A young girl wore the same open-necked gown as her mother. Same exposure, same discomfort. It was believed that this built character. It also built pneumonia. Here's the cruelest irony. Sumptuary laws controlled who could wear what fabrics. These laws existed to maintain class distinctions.
Even if you could afford warmer fabric, you might not be legally allowed to wear it. The wealthy were required by fashion and law to wear clothing that made them colder. Peasants in practical wool were actually warmer. Status meant suffering. Publicly, gracefully. You couldn't complain, that would reveal weakness. But there were survival tools. Women carried muffs, fur tubes you could slide your hands into. They hung from a cord around your neck. Whenever your hands got too cold, you could hide them in the muff for a few minutes. This was socially acceptable. Having blue fingers was not. Small metal hand warmers filled with hot coals could be tucked into muffs or hidden in skirts. Foot warmers, ceramic boxes with a tray for coals, sat under women's skirts while seated. The warmth rose up under the fabric. Until the coals died. Then you needed a servant to replace them. All these warming devices shared one danger: hot coals near fabric. Muffs would suddenly burst into flames. Foot warmers would tip over and ignite skirts. People died this way. The very tools meant to save them from the cold killed them with fire instead.
Night was when the castle showed its true cruelty. Daytime offered activity and movement. Night brought stillness, and in stillness, the cold won. Servants prepared bedchambers before their masters retired. They lit fires, ran warming pans between sheets, and placed heated stones at the foot of the bed. The fire had been burning for an hour or two by bedtime. It wasn't enough. The warming pan, copper filled with hot coals, had done its job. The sheets were warm, but that warmth was already fading. You had to get in fast and close the curtains immediately. The four-poster bed wasn't about romance, it was survival equipment. Heavy curtains hung from all four sides. When closed, they created a small enclosed space where your body heat could build up. After 15 or 20 minutes, it actually became comfortable. Without those curtains, you'd likely die of hypothermia in your own bed. But you couldn't move much. Moving disturbed the warmth. Most people learned to sleep in one position all night. 5, 6, sometimes 8 blankets piled on top. Wool, fur, quilted fabric. The total weight could exceed 50 pounds. You weren't sleeping under covers, you were buried. The weight was oppressive, but better than being cold. Everyone wore nightcaps and bed socks, even King Henry VIII. Your breath created clouds inside the bed curtains. That moisture had nowhere to go. It condensed on the fabric. In severe cold, frost formed on them. Outside the curtains, the room continued to freeze. By midnight, the room temperature plummeted. By dawn, ice formed on the inside of the windows. Water left in the wash basins froze solid. Household accounts from Hampton Court document this repeatedly. 3 jugs frozen and cracked this morning. Basin ice is 2 inches thick. This happened inside, in royal chambers. Waking to use the chamber pot was genuinely awful. You had to open the curtains. Cold air rushed in immediately. Leave the warmth you'd spent hours building. Your feet touched the frozen floor. You sat on a cold ceramic. Then you had to get back under the covers and start warming up all over again. Many people simply held it. Bladder pain was preferable. But there was something even worse than the chamber pot: the garderobe.
The garderobe was a small chamber built into the castle wall, a stone shaft projecting outward. The seat was a wooden or stone bench with a hole cut through it. Waste dropped down the shaft into the moat below or into a cesspit. Sitting on that stone seat in January was an act of genuine courage. The stone was freezing, the actual temperature of winter air. Touching bare skin to it caused instant pain, but you had no choice. Human biology doesn't pause for weather. Worse than the cold seat was the wind. These shafts were open to the outside air. Wind howled up through them. An icy blast hit the most vulnerable parts of your body. People risked genuine frostbite this way. Medical records from the period note injuries from exposure to elements during relief. The waste itself froze inside the shaft. Ice formations built up on the walls. The smell was trapped, frozen into the ice. When temperatures rose even slightly, everything would start to thaw. The stench became unbearable. Some nobles had portable close stools in their bedchambers, chairs with a hole in the seat and a pot underneath. Slightly more private, slightly less cold. The wealthier versions had velvet cushions around the seat opening. That helped a little, but the pot still had to be emptied by servants. In winter, chamber pot contents froze solid overnight. Servants carried frozen human waste through castle corridors. If they dropped one, it shattered. Frozen sewage was scattered everywhere. This happened regularly. Every bit of warmth in a Tudor castle was built on someone's suffering. Young girls, usually between 8 and 14, carried coal in heavy buckets up steep stairs dozens of times daily. Coal dust covered everything, got into their lungs with every breath. Their hands blistered, their backs ached. Lighting fires before dawn meant working with numb fingers, striking flint to create sparks, coaxing tinder to catch, all while kneeling on frozen stone floors. If a servant failed to light a fire properly, they faced punishment. The master, waking to a cold room, wasn't interested in excuses about frozen fingers. Laundry maids worked in the basement rooms. They heated water in huge vats, then scrubbed clothes by hand. Their hands were submerged for hours in water that turned cold quickly in the winter air. When they pulled their hands out, the temperature shock was excruciating. Skin cracked and bled. Infections were common. Drying laundry in winter was nearly impossible. Wet fabric hung in cold rooms for weeks. It grew moldy. It smelled like mildew. Hanging it outside would freeze it solid. Chimney sweeping was work for children. Small boys, orphans usually or sold by desperate parents, were forced up narrow chimneys to clean out soot and blockages. The chimneys were dark, tight spaces filled with sharp bricks and suffocating soot. In winter, they were also freezing. The boys got stuck regularly. Some died inside chimneys, suffocating or freezing. Their bodies would be pulled out days later when the smell got too bad. This was legal, normal, expected. Household accounts show regular payments for chimney boys. They were bought, used, and disposed of like tools. Outdoor servants had it even worse. Guards standing watch on walls sometimes died at their posts, found frozen in the morning, still standing. The cold had simply stopped their hearts. This happened enough often that it wasn't considered remarkable. Servants had no rights. They worked because refusing meant starvation. So they carried coal with bleeding hands, washed in water that destroyed their skin, climbed deadly chimneys, stood in blizzards, all so nobles could pretend to be comfortable.
Tudor doctors believed that fresh air was essential to health. Stale air caused disease. Bad air, miasmas, carried illness from person to person. This theory wasn't completely wrong. Ventilation does help prevent some diseases, but Tudor doctors took it to dangerous extremes. They insisted that sleeping in warm, enclosed spaces was harmful. The air became stale overnight and would poison the sleeper. Therefore, windows should be kept open even in winter. Fresh air, no matter how cold, was considered healthier than warm, enclosed air. This killed people. Doctors recommended that children sleep with windows open to strengthen their constitutions. Nurseries were deliberately kept cold. Babies shivered under blankets while frigid air circulated them. Parents who objected were told they were coddling their children, making them weak. So children froze in their beds on medical advice. Tuberculosis, the White Plague, killed thousands during this period. Doctors treated it by exposing patients to cold, fresh air. They believed heat would worsen condition. Consumptive patients were kept in unheated rooms with windows open.
Wrapped in blankets, yes, but surrounded by freezing air. This did nothing to cure tuberculosis. It often made patients die faster. Bloodletting was another standard treatment. For almost any ailment, removing blood was considered helpful. In winter, this was especially dangerous. Your body needs blood volume to maintain temperature. Remove blood and you can't stay warm as effectively. People weakened by bleeding often couldn't recover their strength in a cold environment. They'd develop pneumonia or other secondary infections and die. Winter death rates in Tudor England spiked by 30 to 40%. Children under 5 were most vulnerable. The elderly died from cold-related complications. All social classes were affected, though the poor died more frequently. Infant mortality among the nobility was shockingly high. 1 in 3 children died before age 5. Royal families, with all their resources, lost children regularly. Part of this was disease, but part was the medical advice they were following. Cold, drafty nurseries, open windows at night, minimal heating. These recommendations killed vulnerable babies, but questioning the doctors was unthinkable. They were learned men, they had authority, their advice must be followed. The poor, ironically, often survived better. They couldn't afford doctors, they didn't follow medical fashion, they simply piled on blankets and closed their shutters tight. Sometimes ignorance was safer than knowledge.
Tudor castles had one source of warmth: fire. Fire in hearths, braziers, kitchen ovens, warming pans. Fire everywhere. And Tudor castles were full of things that burned beautifully. Wooden floors and beams, tapestries, curtains, bed linens, clothing, rushes on floors, all of it dry from indoor heating, all ready to burn. The more you tried to stay warm, the more fires you lit. The more fires you lit, the greater the danger. Braziers were particularly hazardous, portable fire containers sitting on metal stands. Servants carried them from room to room. They were easily tipped over. A servant rushing through a door, a dog running past, a drunk guest stumbling. The brazier would fall, hot coals would scatter across wooden floors or rush-covered stones, and fire would spread within seconds. Hampton Court Palace suffered a serious fire in 1512. It started in a bedchamber from a warming pan left too close to fabric bedding. The fire destroyed an entire wing before it could be controlled. Fighting fires in winter was nearly impossible. Water froze in buckets. Wells were frozen over. By the time you broke through the ice and filled containers, the fire had spread beyond control. People died in their beds, trapped by flames. Smoke inhalation killed many who weren't touched by flames. Tudor buildings had limited exits. Corridors became smoke-filled traps. Chimneys were another fire source. Soot built up inside them over months of constant burning. This soot was flammable. If a chimney got too hot, the soot would ignite. Chimney fires spread into walls and floors. The fire traveled inside the structure where you couldn't see it or fight it. By the time flames appeared, the building was already compromised. Entire sections would collapse suddenly, crushing anyone inside. Clothing fires were gruesomely common. Long flowing sleeves passed too close to candles. Skirts brushed against fireplaces. The fabric would ignite. In seconds, a person would be engulfed. There was no stop, drop, and roll knowledge. People would panic and run, fanning the flames. Rich fabrics burned especially well. Silk ignited almost explosively. Velvet smoldered and released toxic smoke. The expensive clothing nobles wore was a fire hazard. They carried it on their bodies. Records show horrifying numbers of children burned to death in Tudor households. Child died of burns from the fireplace appears repeatedly in parish death records. Nobody considered it unusual. Fire was part of life. So were burn deaths. Fire was the ultimate irony. The thing you needed to survive was also the thing most likely to kill you. You couldn't be warm without fire. You couldn't use fire without risking death. So nobles calculated the risk every time they lit another candle or added another brazier.
How cold were they willing to be to reduce fire danger? The answer was usually not very, so they took the risk and regularly died for it. Fire destroyed more Tudor buildings than warfare ever did. The magnificent castles that survived armies fell to their own desperate attempts at warmth. Freeze or burn, those were the choices. Most people chose to risk burning. At least fire was warm while it killed you.
The Tudor period lasted 118 years. Every single winter was brutal. The Little Ice Age didn't relent. Generation after generation was born into cold castles, grew up shivering, learned to sleep under crushing blankets, and accepted frostbite as normal. Henry VIII owned 60 palaces and rotated between them constantly. This wasn't just political progress, it was survival. Castles became unbearable after weeks of occupation. The cold seeped in, the damp accumulated. The smell from thousands of people living in close quarters with limited washing became intolerable. So the court moved, packed up everything, traveled to the next palace, left the previous one to be cleaned and aired out. This mobile lifestyle was partially driven by the impossibility of staying comfortable in one place. The king couldn't defeat winter, so he ran from it. Winter lasted from November through March, 5 months, nearly half the year, every year, for your entire life. Modern historians studying Tudor household accounts see the evidence clearly. Fuel purchases spiked in autumn, medical payments increased in winter, death records jumped in January and February. The pattern is undeniable. Visitors to modern Tudor palaces often comment on how cold they feel, even in summer. The stone radiates coolness, the rooms feel damp. Now imagine those same rooms in January, with windows open for medical reasons, fireplaces providing inadequate heat, no central heating, and no insulation. The past was monumentally uncomfortable. We've become so accustomed to comfort that we can barely imagine survival without it. We adjust thermostats without thinking. We complain if the temperature drops below 18 degrees Celsius. Tudor nobles were thrilled if it reached 10 degrees inside. The wealth, the status, the political power, none of it could buy warmth. Stone was stone, cold was cold. In some ways, peasants had advantages. Their homes were smaller, easier to heat. They used simpler but more effective methods. Body heat from animals living in the same structure, straw insulation packed into walls, and low ceilings that trapped warmth. They were uncomfortable, but they weren't living in stone freezers designed by military architects. The castle as a building type was obsolete by the end of the Tudor period. Artillery had made thick stone walls less defensible, but the real death of castle living was simpler. Nobody wanted to live like that anymore. New architecture emphasized comfort. Smaller rooms, lower ceilings, better windows, proper chimneys. Manor houses replaced castles as the preferred residences. These weren't as impressive. They didn't have the same military heritage, but you could actually live in them without freezing. The Industrial Revolution finally brought solutions: central heating, better glass, insulation, understanding of thermodynamics. Technology caught up to the need. But that was centuries away. Tudor nobles lived and died before those solutions existed. They endured, they adapted, they pretended, but they were cold, constantly, painfully, dangerously cold. Every winter night in a Tudor castle was a small battle, you against the cold. Sometimes you won, sometimes the cold won. And morning would come with frost on the windows and ice in the wash basin, and another day to survive. Until spring finally arrived, and you'd have 6 months to recover before winter came again. Next time you adjust your thermostat because you're slightly chilly, think about a Tudor lady sitting through a 6-hour feast in a gown with a square neckline, her shoulders bare, watching her wine turn to slush. Think about a servant girl carrying frozen chamber pots through corridors so cold she can see her breath. Think about a child sleeping in a nursery with the windows open because doctors said fresh air was healthy. Think about an entire society that accepted freezing as normal. that had no concept of indoor warmth as a basic expectation. We live in unprecedented comfort. Our complaints about slight temperature discomfort would seem insane to people who considered frost on their bedroom walls normal. The past was brutal, not because people were tougher, but because they had no choice. Could you survive one Tudor winter? Probably not, and that's okay, because you don't have to. If this video changed how you think about historical comfort or made you appreciate your modern home, please like and subscribe. Share it with anyone who complains about being slightly cold. Comment below, what historical period would you want to experience? What daily life should I expose next? Because history wasn't Instagram-worthy, it was survival, and we should never forget that.